Sylvie of the multiple award-winning The Queen Sylvie Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Sylvie or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Hey kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet.
Oh, good madman! Welcome, my friends, to the brand new Qatari Emiri Air Force facility in Mountain Home, Idaho. Yes, Idaho, land of potatoes, precious stones, patriots. And now, Palestinian militant organization, Hamas. Thanks to our dear partner, the great Sultan Amir Donald J. Trump Ibn Frederick and his dashing chief of war Peter Hegeseth, we now have a safe and secure home to train our brave pilots. With no Israeli invaders, no CNN, and no taking our shoes off before we fly. Such an inconvenience. And the location? Sababa. If we ever wanted to fly our planes into buildings, think of the gas we'll save coming direct from Boise. The people of Idaho have welcomed us into their tents with warm hospitality. They are hardworking, freedom-loving, and inshallah, some of them will make terrific wives for our pilots. We never imagined such prime real estate, but our leader, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, he read the art of the deal, a precious gift from Amir Donald J. Trump. One gift jet later, and boom! Top Gun comes to fly over country. And to our friends in Hamas, don't worry, we haven't forgotten you. Why do you think America announced this just a few days after October 7th? We even built them a special tunnel under the Boise Home Depot. Great Wi-Fi and a surplus of shovels. So come visit the Mountain Home Qatari Emiri Air Force Base. And stop by the Shoshone Waterfalls while you are here. We have renamed it to the Sharia Fall, which is a better fit. So, thank you, America. It is great to share the skies with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so very, very much for dropping by and spending another hump day with me on Tim's Tidbits. And hey, let's just jump into the show. Let's kind of take a rewind to what the hell happened last week, what may be coming up this week, and what we may not even see coming yet. Because there's all kinds of situations in the situation room happening. We just don't know what they are yet. Anyhow, we do know one thing, that we're approaching 3 weeks of a government shutdown, which means, there's a lot of services that are not getting taken care of. Excuse me. Some workers are deemed essential. I guess you would your TSA agents, your postal workers, and some of these other positions that they're forced to come into work even though they're not getting a check, which is kind of strange. And I know that they have had some slowdown, let's say, with air traffic controllers. In fact, we talked about that last week, where they shut down Burbank Airport there for in the evening time. When they just had no air traffic controllers at Bob Hope International Airport there. So, yeah. And apparently they were having San Diego land the planes that were the jets and the planes of any air traffic that was landing in there in Burbank. They was being controlled by San Diego, which I'm glad they got that straightened out. But anyhow, hey, that's just some of the repercussions of this looming continuous government shutdown. And as I said, we're going on 3 weeks. And you listen to the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, and he's talking about, they're going to stretch this out as long as they can. And as long as they can do some finger wagging back and forth on this, goes on both sides of the aisles. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Republicans' fault. It's whoever's fault, but it sure as hell ain't mine. It depends on, again, which side you're on. But let's take a look at what's happening here as we approach 3 weeks of a government shutdown.
Welcome back to Takeout. Day 13 of the government shutdown. The Trump administration issued layoff notices to more than 4,000 federal workers late last week. The Senate set to return to the Capitol tomorrow. Caitlin Huey-Burns joins me now from the Capitol. Caitlin, what do we know about these reduction in force notices? What departments or agencies affected?
Well, Major, we've learned that there are over 4,000 reduction in force notices, essentially layoffs, across 7 different government agencies. And this is significant because usually in a government shutdown, employees who are deemed non-essential are furloughed and they will be paid back later. This case, however, is completely different. The administration is moving forward, directing agencies to lay people off entirely. And Major, there was a big piece of news over the weekend. Among those 4,000 employees, 1,000 of them were at HHS, or the CDC, I should say, which is under HHS. And then HHS later said that some of those were actually made in error, that because of essentially a computer error, people at HHS, at CDC, were notified that they were being laid off and they weren't supposed to. So some of those cuts have been reversed. But essentially, this is the administration trying to amp up the pressure on lawmakers up here on Capitol Hill, particularly Democrats, to get on board with this spending bill. Democrats, however, at this point, don't seem to be budging.
And Caitlin, the administration said over the weekend there would be some funding found to make sure U.S. military personnel are paid as scheduled on October 15th.
That's right. By October 15th, that is when they run out of money to be able to pay the troops who have to continue working without pay if that weren't the case. So the administration says that it has found some mechanism to be able to pay them, so they'll get their paychecks on the 15th. However, it is unclear whether there is enough money laying around to be able to pay them indefinitely. It's not clear when this government shutdown will end. And Speaker Johnson told me that while the troops will get this paycheck, there is still some uncertainty. And I've talked to military families who are really feeling that uncertainty this time around.
Caitlin Huey-Burns from Capitol Hill, as always, thank you very much.
Yeah, you think? You got to feel the pinch. You're going how long without getting any type of a paycheck for services that you're rendering to your country? Seems highly unfair. And then they put out 4,000 RIF notices. I'm sorry, but since we had a government shutdown, we've also decided that we no longer need you in employment. and it's getting crazy. And they're all using it. They're just pawns in the game. They're just pawns in the game, and you heard it, And until the Trump administration can get their way and they can get their budget passed the way they want to get it passed, we're going to have a domino effect of, the various agencies within our government taking big hits. And there you go. Somehow they just don't seem to care, unfortunately. And, hey, speaking of some of the other stuff that's getting crazy, and this is a domino effect also. You know that Donald has a real issue with the wind turbines, right? He says whoosh, whoosh, whoosh causes brain cancer and kills birds and other wildlife. But in any regards, offshore wind turbines is actually a really big business because you have people that's their employment. They go out there, they build and they maintain these particular wind turbines that are offshore. And I don't know that they're necessarily killing the wildlife and scattering dead birds everywhere. But what it is doing, since Trump put the freeze on the offshore wind projects, it's hitting even more people in the wallet. So besides government layoffs and the 4,000 people that just got riffed a couple of weeks ago, why not make an impact on your local industry that is just trying to make it day by day?
An energy research report estimates that new wind energy projects in the United States will be cut by 40% over the next 5 years due to the Trump administration's shift away from alternative energy. In tonight's In Depth, CBS Boston's Jacob Wyckoff reports one wind project in New England has become not just a new source of energy, but an economic lifeline.
Captain Jack Morris, a lifelong scalloper, had recently found steady work supporting offshore wind construction off the New England coast. Crews like his patrolled offshore sites, keeping the water safe as the turbines went in.
This has been a great thing for them, and it's been a great thing for me and the boat.
But that work was put on hold in late August when the Trump administration ordered a stop to construction on the Revolution Wind project, citing national security concerns.
My first thought was, this is insane. Everything's going good with the projects. There's been no safety issues.
The halt shook the waterfront, costing Revolution Wind operator Ørsted $2.3 million a day and leaving fishermen like Morris docked.
Every trip that the boats don't go, the captain, the crew, the owner, your shoreside people, they're not putting fuel in the boats, the welders are not welding. It's truly a ripple effect.
Federal limits mean scallop boats only get a handful of days at sea each year. Offshore wind became a lifeline, in some cases worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of construction. Off the coast of Rhode Island, Revolution Wind is about 80% built, with 45 of its 65 turbines already in the water.
It's become very important. It adds to their livelihood.
For these fishermen, many of whom back President Trump, the administration's attacks on offshore wind have fueled anxiety about the industry's future. It already has cut $680 million in federal funding for about a dozen projects.
Everybody voted for Trump. You never saw a Biden bumper sticker anywhere.
For Morris, the pause meant a lost paycheck. For New Englanders, the pause actually raised fears of even higher energy costs. That's why New Bedford's mayor says the stakes reach far beyond the waterfront.
There's just a whole lot of demand for energy, especially in the Northeast.
Connecticut officials warn losing Revolution Wind could add $500 million a year to energy bills across New England, in a region where rates are already among the nation's highest.
We have always been committed to the proposition that both offshore wind and fishing can succeed side by side.
Mayor John Mitchell points to more than $1 billion in new terminals and wharf projects, investments meant to keep the port competitive for decades.
Here in New Bedford, we play the long game.
On September 22nd, a judge ruled that work on Revolution Wind could resume, lifting the pause. And even with this project back underway, political uncertainty looms for the rest of the industry and the future of offshore wind in America. Jacob Wyckoff, CBS News, New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Wow. And it costed that company that was put on hold $2.3 million a day in revenue losses. And besides the other people that were involved, as he said, the boats, the maintenance, the welders, all these other people involved, insane that, because he has a problem with wind turbines causing cancer in your brain and killing birds. Yeah, that he stops a project like that. And yeah, he's going to raise the cost of energy in New England. Obviously, that's one of the subsidies that they have, as far as naturally being able to produce energy, along with solar collectors, and he doesn't like that either. So no wind turbines, no solar collectors. We'll just do straight out, I don't know, coal energy. Dig, baby, dig. Craziness, folks. Keep up with this. I see a whole lot of blue-collar workers, and just like that guy said, never seen a Biden sticker around that place before, but I bet you, hey, this coming up, you're going to see a whole lot of people disparaged about the promises that Trump made and the promises that he didn't keep, because who's taking it up the butt, folks? Everyday Americans. Anyhow, hey, speaking of everyday Americans, and we've talked about this before on the show, too, that would be is gerrymandering. Where they can redraw district voting maps so that basically what happens is the representative is able to pick his voters so he can assure that himself that he gets voted into office instead of the voters being able to pick their representatives. So they're basically, maneuvering the district maps so they have the advantage when it comes to vote count. In any regards, in Louisiana, some years back, it was found that there was only actually one district that represented the black vote in Louisiana, and so they manipulated, gerrymandered the voting maps so that they could at least be inclusive in at least two minority votes, whether that be black, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, and that passed through, and that but now. And that some years ago, again, both the parties agreed upon that, Republicans, Democrats, but now it is being taken to the Supreme Court of the United States because one group finds it a little bit unfair, possibly, maybe not, depends on how you look at it, that now it negates the white vote.
The Supreme Court is hearing a major challenge to the Voting Rights Act. Louisiana v. Calais centers around the state's congressional maps. Back in 2022, a group of black Louisianans argued that having just one black majority district limited their voting power. They won that case and got a new map with two majority black districts. Well, now a group of non-black voters is arguing the new map discriminates against them.
Joining us now to talk more about the potential implications of this case is the Hill's legal guru, Zach Schoenfeld. Zach, thanks for joining us. A huge case. Really revolves around Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. What does that section entail and what's at stake?
Hey, good morning, Corey and Hillary. That's right. This is really a big day at the Supreme Court. This case stands to impact not only the future of Louisiana's congressional map, but voting maps that have been enacted all across the country. The question before the Supreme Court is, can Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act continue to force states to draw these additional minority-majority districts? As you just went through their history in Louisiana, this has happened in a lot of other states too. And the argument that Louisiana will make today is backed by the Trump administration, is that courts have been stretching Section 2 too far, to the point where it's now running into the Constitution, the 14th and 15th Amendments that provide equal protection under the law and prohibit intentional racial discrimination in voting. So essentially the argument is that Section 2 has went too far to the point where it's now an unconstitutional racial gerrymander.
So this is a bifurcated case, right? It starts in 2022, and at that point, Louisiana agreed with the idea of having a black majority district, an extra one. State was with the people who were suing, and now the state has flipped. Now they're choosing to join hands with the non-black group that believes it's discriminating against them. And what's the legal argument they're using?
So this is now actually the second time that this case has been argued before the Supreme Court. As you mentioned, the first time Louisiana was on the opposite side here. And the argument they've made is they said they've never truly given up their position. They said they never really believed that they had to draw the second majority black district, but they basically accepted that they lost that part of the case. And so they just accepted that we needed to draw a second majority black that district. They were very concerned that a court was going to take over the process. They were concerned that a court was going to draw new maps that potentially would draw out Louisiana's high-profile Republicans, people like Speaker Mike Johnson, Steve Scalise. They also have a member on the Appropriations Committee, so they were concerned about that. But now that they say that the Supreme Court is actually rehearing the case, they've really raised the stakes, raised this new question that really asks about the future of Section 2. That's why you're now seeing Louisiana go and flip back their position and say, okay, now we'll come back to what was really our original position, which is that we shouldn't have had to draw the second district in the first place.
So the back and forth, the back and forth, and we know it's all for seats. Am I going to be able to get more seats in the House? Am I going to be able to get more seats in the Senate? Again, let's look what happened here. Let's go back to what happened in Texas just a little bit ago. When they redrew their district maps. Why? Because Trump asked them to redraw their district maps so that they could get, 4 more congressional seats? And obviously then a little bit more power when it comes to Washington, able to get things through so they can gerrymander. Again, this is where, they pick their voters. The voters don't get to pick their representative. So, keep an eye on this. They're going to keep trying it. Any way they can manipulate the vote one way or the other, discount your vote, put it in somebody else's pocket so that they can keep in office. That's what they're going to do, folks. Trust me, they've been doing it for years. Since I believe it was 1887, 1888, something like that, about 10, 12 years after the conception of our country that they first had those type of issues where Virginia it was, and they were trying to keep James Madison out of office, and they were manipulating the vote. But unfortunately, they weren't able to accomplish, or fortunately, they weren't able to accomplish that because James Madison was able to finally, get a seat, become president, and Dolly was able to give us all those fine treats. And who doesn't like a nice Dolly Madison cupcake? Anyhow, hey, some years back, during the Biden administration, what he did was took a combination of Columbus Day, which was always observed, even though Columbus never really discovered America. We're taught that in school. Don't ask me why. You're taught that Columbus discovered America when he really didn't. I mean, he was down in the West Indies, right? Down in the Bahamas somewhere. But in any regard, Biden actually renamed this particular holiday Indigenous Native Day, rightfully so, for the people who were here before Columbus supposedly discovered America, and Discovery Day. But anyhow, apparently, and I don't know why, Trump does not like the idea that we're going to celebrate the indigenous people, and found it more appropriate that we go back to the proper naming of Columbus Day, to Columbus Day, so that we can actually celebrate the Italians. And who cares about the indigenous people? Apparently not this administration.
Go ahead. This is like Explorer Day for you, sir. Today we have your Columbus Day proclamation for Monday, which we're signing a bit early. Christopher Columbus obviously discovered the New World in 1492. He was a great Italian explorer. He sailed his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in what's today the Caribbean. But this is a particularly important holiday for Italian Americans who celebrate the legacy of Christopher Columbus and the innovation and explorer zeal that he represented.
In other words, we're calling it Columbus Day. Okay.
Yes.
That was the press that broke out in applause. Can you believe that? I've never seen that happen before. The press actually broke out in applause. Good. Columbus Day. We're back. Columbus Day, we're back, Italians. Okay. We love the Italians. Okay.
And what about the indigenous Indians? How about them?
So we covered Scandinavia and Italy.
Okay.
Not bad. Now for the rest of the world.
Yeah. I just wonder how the American Indian feels about that one. Yeah. We're going to celebrate probably shouldn't celebrate that we took this country away from them the way that we did, how cruel and inhumane we are. We'll try to sweep that under the carpet, too. Maybe that is part of the reason. I mean, we sweep under the carpet, or he's trying to sweep under the carpet, anything to do with this nation in its role in slavery. So he's trying to get that out of the museums. He's trying to get that out of your school textbooks. Why should we ever learn about something that we did that is so horrific? Let's pretend we never did it. Again, kind of like the Holocaust. In this way, let's forget that we just totally ripped off the indigenous people of this country and took the land and just wiped them out. And there was a lot of raids in the particular Indian countries that they did not transgress against us, and we just went in and wiped them out. It's a horrible past and stuff, but we should never, never, never forget. Speaking of, violating the border, just coming across when you feel like it, and we have a border czar that Trump has appointed, Tom Homan. Tom Homan is, supposed to be taking care of the wall, taking care of, anything that's going on with Canada, anybody traveling into and out of the United States. That's Tom Homan's position. But apparently Tom Homan got himself in a little bit of jam because a few years ago, before the election, there was a sting operation. And that sting operation was basically set up to see if Homan would bend to the will of a few dollars that once he's in the office, after the Trump administration takes office, then he would exercise influence to go ahead and give out some government contracts. Obviously for, within the scope of his position. And so this has come to light, and let's listen to what happened when Vice President J.D. Vance got asked about this particular situation. And listen to him skate left, skate right, jump, duck, all over the place, and basically denial that he doesn't know anything about what the hell, he knows everything about. And check out this story about our borders are Tom Homan and taking a little bit of bribe money from the FBI.
On Meet the Press, the vice president said this.
James Comey obviously lied under oath. Letitia James obviously committed mortgage fraud.
And on ABC, he said this.
Tom Homan did not take a bribe. It's a ridiculous smear.
How does he know? How does he know who's guilty and who isn't guilty? How does he know any one of those things that he just said? It is worth noting that no vice president of the United States in history before this one has decided to comment on the guilt of federal criminal defendants awaiting trial. That's never happened before. It is not unusual for a vice president to defend members of his administration against accusations of all sorts, but James David Vance is especially bad at it when it comes to bags of cash handed by FBI undercover agents to Tom Homan and captured secretly on secretly recorded FBI video.
You said he didn't take a bribe, but I'm not sure you answered the question. Are you saying that he did not accept the $50,000?
George, this story has been covered ad nauseum. He did not take a bribe. Did he accept $50,000? I'm sure that in the course of Tom Homan's life, he has been paid more than $50,000 for services. The question is, did he do something illegal?
And there you finally see the shape of the new White House defense of the man recorded on FBI videotape taking $50,000 in cash. J.D. Vance asks himself the question, did he accept the $50,000? And then he says, I'm sure that in the course of Tom Homan's life, he has been paid more than $50,000 for services. So that's the defense. Yes, he took the money, but it was for services. What services could he possibly perform for undercover FBI agents who were lying about who they were? That's the kind of defense that has tripwires all around it, as the vice president demonstrated.
I'm asking you, did he accept the $50,000 that was caught on the surveillance tape? Did he accept that $50,000 or not?
George, I don't know what you're talking about. Did he accept $50,000 for what?
He was recorded on an audio tape in September 2024, an FBI surveillance tape, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money?
Accepting $50,000 for doing what, George? I'm not even sure I understand the question. Is it illegal to take a payment for doing services? The FBI has not prosecuted him. I've never seen any evidence that he's engaged in criminal wrongdoing. Nobody has accused Tom of violating a crime, even the far left media like yourself. So I'm actually not sure what the precise question is. Did he accept $50,000? Honestly, George, I don't know the answer to that question.
And so there's your answer. I don't know. Did he accept $50,000? There are three possibilities: yes, no, and I don't know. And J.D. Vance just picked, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, were his exact words. The vice president seems to realize just how much trouble he was in. And so he tried to backtrack and say he doesn't even know what tape we're talking about.
You're saying right now you don't know whether or not he kept that money?
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about.
He does know. Of course he knows. And George Stephanopoulos ably exposed what the vice president knows, what he doesn't know, and what he's incapable of answering. MSNBC exclusively broke the news over 3 weeks ago that FBI undercover agents secretly recorded a video of Tom Homan accepting $50,000 in cash in a paper bag handed to him by those undercover FBI agents. And here is how the vice president's very unsuccessful interview ended.
You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
Goodbye, J.D. What a freaking liar. He acts like he doesn't know jack frickety shit. Yeah. Oh, no, he didn't. That was for services. That wasn't a bribe. And then when he keeps getting asked, well, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about now. All of a sudden, Alzheimer's is kicked in. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know, folks. You know, the way they treat us and the way they treat their vets. And now they sit there and, you know, try to pay their vets, and they say maybe till the 15th of this month they may be able to. I heard Kristi Noem say she's found some creative ways to find a little bit of money here and there. I would imagine probably from the SNAP benefits that they cut from you. Now they'll be able to help support the military for another couple of weeks, and then who knows where they're going to get the money then. But in any regards, you know, the poor military, seriously, they're getting shoved into the mix, getting deployed to democratic cities because they're out of control. And it's interesting that they're not getting paid one dime, or could not be getting paid a dime for all of this. And there's some that are out on disability. And we know some of this disability. We've heard them, some people fighting still from Vietnam. The side effects of Agent Orange that was sprayed, and these people that are, you know, battling various illnesses, cancer, other things from the Agent Orange. People that worked in burn pits. It was burning some of this garbage that the military was disposing of. and now they're suffering, some traumatic health issues. But what happens if you are on disability? You're a Navy vet. It is on disability, and all of a sudden you find out your benefits are going to get cut. You're not going to receive your full monthly benefits. Why? Because of a job that you never had.
VA cut a local veteran's disability check because she was working a full-time job, but she says she's never even heard of the town where the job was and never worked there. Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray has reported on the same problem happening with other veterans. This evening, he is live in Duluth.
Yeah, Linda, this is the office where they say she was working, but she lives down in Warner Robins. We put her address in the GPS. It's a 2-hour right now. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes a bit ago. 2-hour journey just one way. And the company, they even sent this letter to the VA saying this woman never worked there.
I've already lost a vehicle.
Her monthly Department of Veterans Affairs benefit checks cut in half from $4,000 to $1,900. Georgia Navy veteran Yasmina Covington says she can't keep up with the bills.
Now I got to decide, am I going to buy groceries this month, or I'm going to keep the water and the lights on? Like, it's a constant battle.
The VA cut this formerly 100% disabled veterans benefits because government records show she earned $57,947 in 2023 at a packaging company called West Rock in Duluth, 117 miles from her Warner Robins home.
I've never been to Duluth. I've never met anybody from Duluth.
Covington even got the Human Resources Department of West Rock to send the VA this letter confirming she was not an employee. Channel 2 Action News Investigates reported on the same thing happening this spring to other veterans.
It's hard to hold back tears, man. It's hard to hold back.
The VA told Roosevelt Smith his benefits were being cut for working at a diner he'd never heard of.
It said I didn't report my earnings. I'm like, I didn't generate any earnings.
Virginia Franklin was told she made 6 figures last year, but she hasn't worked since 2004. Both Smith and Franklin had their benefits restored after Channel 2 Action News got involved. Yasmina Covington has appealed the benefits cut, but so far gotten nowhere with getting this resolved.
I know I did nothing wrong, and others haven't done anything wrong. And now all of us are potentially at risk of losing the little bit that we do have, and it's not fair.
And so I did reach out to the Department of Veterans Affairs. A spokesman tells me because of the shutdown, there's not anything they can do today. They said as soon as the shutdown is over, they're going to have the benefits department do an investigation into this case. And again, the 2 previous veterans that we interviewed about this after we got involved did get their money back. We're going to continue to follow this. We're live in Gwinnett County. Justin Gray, Channel 2 Action News.
Oh, Justin, I hope you get the same result once the government is back open again and they can look into this case. Justin, thank you.
Yeah, sounds like Doge. Remember when Doge was supposedly finding all these fraudulent Social Security numbers, duplicate Social Security numbers of people that were dead for hundreds of years, all kinds of BS. And I'm sure whatever they did had something to do with that when they were in there manipulating all this information, and who knows what the hell they've created, what kind of a tangled web they've got in there now. But yeah, that's a damn shame. Trying to sit there and tell somebody that, you worked a 3-figure job when you haven't worked in years, and then they're going to cut your benefits from $4,000 to $1,900 a month. That's a hell of a hit. Look, $2,100 a month reduction in pay. And how are you going to explain that to your landlord, to your utility companies that, yeah, they're not going to buy that, and they really don't care. The only thing they want is that green. And the situation that you're currently in is of real no concern to them, unfortunately. Wish these people luck, and I hope they get that all straightened out. Hey, how many people have seen these autonomous cars driving around? The driverless taxis. You can order them up, on your phone with an app, or we've seen them for quite a few years in the testing phase when we were broadcasting out of the Ranger Stadium down in Arlington. But in any regards, and it was kind of interesting to watch. But, they've had some issues here and then. I've seen on TV just the other night where some of the autonomous vehicles were actually passing stop school buses. So then they started becoming a safety concern. But what happens if they take it a little step further, and it has been taken a step further by a law enforcement agency who now has an autonomous patrol vehicle, and that patrol vehicle basically is used to come up on critical incidents, dangerous incidents, or maybe deploy a drone. But that'd be kind of an interesting thing to see if you get pulled over. You're waiting for the police officer to come up, and the only thing that really comes up beside your window is a drone. And what do? Do you flash him your driver's license or registration? I mean, I'm not quite sure. But let's see what's happening to the first autonomous patrol vehicle in the nation, and it's naturally down in Florida.
In Miami, police say this is the future of law enforcement.
This vehicle is going to give us touch points with the community that we have never had before.
If you look past the flashing lights and logos, it's clear this is no ordinary police cruiser. This prototype SUV was designed to launch a drone, read license plates, and send live infrared video back to HQ, all without needing a police officer behind the wheel. The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office says this is the nation's first autonomous police vehicle. The South Florida Department is rolling out the experimental vehicle thanks to funding from the policing lab.
What we're ultimately trying to do is to give the sworn officers the capability to make the best decision out there.
For now, Miami-Dade will essentially take the vehicle on a PR junket, seeking community input before it regularly patrols neighborhoods. If and when that day arrives, designers say this vehicle will offer a lot.
They don't need to be focused on driving and looking for animals, children, pedestrians running out into the road. The vehicle's going to watch those vulnerable road users and let the officer look for crime.
The easy-to-operate tethered drone gives police a bird's-eye, up-close view, even in the shadows. The car can also patrol targeted areas, deterring bad actors without Sheriff Rosie Cordero-Stutz needing to send actual deputies.
I would probably say that this vehicle will allow 5 to 10 deputies to go about other business that they might otherwise not be able to do.
The policing lab says the car can also help streamline arrests,
fingerprint, 10 digits,
and relay real-time data.
Bus collision, an active shooter. You position this vehicle, and this information can be fed directly back to a command center for decision making.
The autonomous vehicle industry has faced questions about safety for years. Designers say this new law enforcement model would not engage in a high-speed chase without a deputy driving.
This will never go lights and siren, exempt from the rules of the road autonomously.
Technology like 360-degree cameras also raises privacy concerns. Civil society groups like the ACLU have long been suspicious of police using surveillance tech such as drones. Miami-Dade Sheriff says her department is using technology that's everywhere.
We're all on camera all the time, everywhere we go. I think that what we're doing is embracing what's already part of our lives and using it in a way that helps to improve our community.
And we may not even be able to imagine some future triumphs and pitfalls on an uncharted road.
The Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office says during the pilot program, this vehicle will be assigned to its Community Affairs Bureau. But the sheriff tells me if there's a crisis, they'll put this vehicle to work. Jesse Kirsch, NBC News, Miami.
There we go. Interesting. No, I mean, in some regards, it's probably a pretty smart idea where you could have a car like that go into a situation that would endanger officers' lives, and they'll be able to deploy a drone, and who knows how far they could take it. It's kind of interesting. Technology, folks, and the power of AI. This keeps getting more and more interesting. And speaking of computers, I wanted to keep you updated real quick on this, and it was just announced, and that's why I want to share this with you, actually, is Microsoft is no longer going to support Windows 10, which means I believe coming up here within the next month, Windows 10 updates will no longer be available. You're going to have to try to transition into Windows 11. And if you're really unsure about what you do have, you can go to the bottom of your laptop, bottom of your computer screen, in where they have the little spyglass. and just type in WinVer, W-I-N-V-E-R, and it will return to you what particular system you're operating on. But if you are operating on Windows 10, you have very little time to get yourself transitioned over to 11 and or just have no support on your Windows 10 product on your home laptop, home computer. But check it out, be aware, and just a little hint for you from Tim's Tidbits.
Microsoft is pulling support for Windows 10 without a subscription, a move that will impact 400 million computers. I reached out to Coperg, a consumer advocacy group, to find out what options people have. And they say 43% of computers running Windows 10 cannot upgrade to Windows 11. So customers can purchase a subscription to receive support, or they'll have to buy a new computer. I asked Easton Lane with Coperg what the security risk is if you just continue to use your computer without the security updates, and he pointed to the 2017 ransomware attack that affected over 200,000 computers, known as WannaCry.
Hundreds of thousands of people were affected by this malware and lost money just because they were using an outdated support system. So that's kind of what's at stake here with Windows 11. If you continue using Windows 10, the longer you do it, the more likely it is that you could experience a crippling security threat.
Is that fair to only provide support for users who have a subscription? And what are you guys asking of Microsoft?
We do think that forcing users to basically pay to keep support or else risk security threat is a little bit exploitative and not fair to customers who have purchased Windows 10 computers that still run completely fine.
Over 590 businesses and elected officials have signed Coperg's letter, hoping to put enough pressure on Microsoft to continue security support without a subscription. Microsoft will discontinue support for Windows 10 on October 14th.
There you go, folks. October 14th is the D-Day for the end of Windows 10 support, unless they're able to somehow get this agreement with Microsoft to continue support without having to pay subscription. That could get quite pricey too. So either way, you might not have a choice. Like I said, if your machine won't support Windows 11, then you're kind of screwed. And again, you can check down in the search engine there in the search bar, WinVer, to see what you're on. Hey, one thing that I had the opportunity a few weeks ago was to go to a Red Wings game. Really enjoyed it. It was really nice into the suites. But I was really fabricated and just taken aback, rather, by the cost of these particular tickets to get in. Thank God they were gifted, because there's no way I've got to cover the cost of these things. But I thought to myself, this is the main reason why I don't go to a lot of professional sports. Because even if you want to get a nosebleed ticket to get up and watch one of the worst teams, it costs you, $50, $60. And you're not even necessarily going to get a view. And that's aside from what you're going to have to pay to park and what you're going to be paying in concessions, and if you're going to get any type of souvenirs, it could get quite pricey. And it was interesting that I came across this particular speech, or lecture rather, by a MIT economist who compared the NFL to a cartel. Because of the way they control what's going on within and without the NFL's the league, and how they handle their teams and how they handle their players. And let's listen to what this MIT professor has to say. It's a short little lecture that I think you just might enjoy, and he does have a point. Check it on out and why things are so damn expensive when it comes to professional sports.
Now, there's a third example which is quite interesting, which is sometimes cartels can operate in the open and get away with it. Let's talk about the National Football League, the NFL. The NFL is the most important football organization in America, the most profitable, important football organization in America. Football's the most profitable sport in the country. Advertising is incredibly valuable during football games, increasingly so because now we all watch. It's the one place in the world you don't stream. So we stream everything we watch now, so we don't have ads. You can't stream sports. So sports advertising has gone through the roof because advertising in other contexts is less valuable. Used to be you could advertise everywhere. Now you can't. It's really just sports is the last place people watch ads. So it's incredibly valuable. Now, the NFL is 32 teams, essentially 32 businesses competing in a literal sense with each other. So and there's a huge incentive to collude. Let's take the New York Giants and the New York Jets, and the New Jersey Giant, New York Jets, but it's the same market. Let's say that let's say the TV station says, the major TV station says, look, we're going to broadcast whichever team gives us the better deal. Well, the Giants and Jets will have to compete with each other, give the TV station the better deal. But let's say we'll agree not to do that. We'll just tell the TV station, this is our price. It's basically instead of $1 billion, it'll be $2 billion. We each have $2 billion, either take it or leave it. And TV station ended up broadcasting both, or maybe one TV station takes one, another TV station takes another. And more generally, what the NFL does is they only sell the TV rights for the league. They don't sell TV rights for individual teams. So individual teams do not sell their TV rights, which could lead to competition. The league just sells the TV rights, which causes a cartel. Essentially, they're saying if you want to broadcast football, you got to come to us, and we're going to charge a super high price. As a result, quite frankly, watching football is a bit of a pain in the ass at this point. So you've got network TV, which if the local team is on, you can only watch the local team. Otherwise, there may be one other game on. You've got Sunday Night Football, which is on network TV. You've got Thursday Night Football, which I think is on Amazon or ESPN. Amazon, Thursday night? Who's got Thursday Night Football? Amazon. You've got Sunday Morning Football from London, which is ESPN+. Then you can do what I did and pony up $350 to buy Sunday Ticket. If you like an out-of-town team and want to watch your team, which lets you watch any game you want on Sunday, except the Sunday morning games where you still have to buy ESPN+, as I learned much to my chagrin. So it's incredibly expensive to watch football. If you want to see all the football games, it costs you a pretty penny. Why? Because the league has colluded and set up a structure where basically firms can't undercut each other. Otherwise, firms would say, look, a lot of people want to watch my team. I'm going to go strike a separate deal. Indeed, in 1957, the Supreme Court, 1957, even before I was born, that's how long ago it was, the Supreme Court ruled that this was anti-competitive and they couldn't do it. They did, yet it's still done, and the NFL will make $40 billion this year off their collusive cartel. Why? Because Congress stepped in and said, well, we're going to grant them an antitrust exemption. We're going to say football is such of a national important priority that we're going to actually exempt football from our nation's antitrust laws. So I said last time in my previous lecture, I'd prove to you that Congress cares more about football than economics. Okay? They cared more about the football league than actually making football affordable for us to watch. So by granting them an antitrust exemption, they allowed them to collude and have this one league that makes it incredibly expensive to watch football.
$40 billion industry, NFL. Oh my God. Yeah, they got a lot of power. They swing a pretty big hammer, so to speak. And it is extremely expensive to go to professional sports. In fact, it's getting expensive even to go to college sports, depending upon the team. And I think some of that has to do, with these particular schools trying to cover, their NIL money. This new law that passed, now if I sell anything that, has your name on it, has your image on it, whatever the case may be, I got to throw some bucks down to you. And, it's making everything more expensive. Just American greed, basically, is taking the ordinary mom-and-pop consumer, mom-and-pop fan out of the seats. We can't afford this kind of stuff. Just ain't going to happen. Just is not going to happen. Hey, let's move on to another part of the show that I'd like to share with you, and we're wrapping up, and that is this part that we call, Dude, Seriously? What the fuck? And this what the fuck moment, I got two of them for you. The first one is, You know how sometimes you can come across these extreme amusement park rides? Could be the highest, fastest roller coaster in the world. Could have, multiple spins, multiple dips, multiple turns. They're always trying to be the first in everything. I don't know what this particular ride is trying to be the first in, but there is no way I'm going to check this one out. Maybe you might, maybe you won't. You can decide from this video. You going to get on and take a ride? What do you think? Yes? No? You gonna get on there and take a ride? Doesn't that look like fun? Yeah. No way, folks. No way. Anyhow, in this one I came across, I heard it on the news, and it was so bizarre that I just had to share it with you. Because I'm thinking to myself, once I heard that the family of this particular woman who died, this is the second attempt to overturn a coroner's rule that her death was not a suicide, it was actually murder. Why it is so confusing is because she was beat up and stabbed multiple times, both in the front, in the back, in the neck, in the arm, all over her. And they're ruling this particular death a suicide. So check it out. I found it totally confusing. So I just wanted to share this in a what the fuck moment.
A shocking twist in a baffling cold case. Ellen Greenberg was stabbed more than 20 times, yet her death was ruled a suicide. After a 13-year-long struggle, her parents managed to get the case reopened. But there is heartbreak for Ellen's parents and their legion of supporters today. Ellen's death in this Philadelphia apartment building has once again been ruled a suicide, and the case is officially closed. The Philadelphia medical examiner says many of Ellen's injuries are hesitation wounds, and Ellen would be capable of inflicting these wounds herself. I spoke to the family's attorney, who says the latest findings make no sense.
I don't give much credence to this report. This is a disgrace as far as I'm concerned.
Ellen, a 27-year-old elementary school teacher, was planning her wedding. Her fiancé, Sam Goldberg, seen that night on surveillance video, told authorities he came home to find her dead.
My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere. Please come, help, now.
Willing to do CPR with me over the phone so they can...
I have to, right?
Bare her chest, okay? You want to rip her shirt off. Rip
oh, my God. She stabbed herself. There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Ellen had 23 stab wounds, including 11 on the back of her neck, 1 in the scalp, 1 in the abdomen, and 9 to the chest. This image shows how improbable it is that Ellen could have caused those wounds herself.
I think this is a travesty and a miscarriage of justice.
Michelle Dupree, a forensic pathologist who supports the family, says the medical examiner may have ignored vital evidence.
There was near fatal strangulation marks on her neck and the hemorrhages in her neck. That is a clear sign of force, pressure on the neck. That needs to have some consideration.
Ellen's parents' campaign for justice is detailed in a new Hulu documentary, Death in Apartment 603, What Happened to Ellen Greenberg. The documentary's executive producer says she will never believe Ellen took her own life.
20 stab wounds, 10 to the back. That's anatomically impossible.
That's insane. So she was like stabbing herself, choking herself, and they're gonna rule that folks, that was suicide. I can't believe. The woman obviously had some type of mental issues going on, and she took it out on herself. I don't know. Sometimes I really don't know. But hey, let's go on and move to the next part of the show and see who is going to obtain this week's Asshole Merit Badge. And there is a competition. Again, we had two what the fucks. We can have two Asshole Merit Badge nominations. This first nomination goes to a group of guards from a New York holding facility where a inmate may have been mishandled, and from that mishandling, he died. And now it's going to court, and it looks like 3 of these officers could be facing some serious charges. Check it out.
Video that outraged the nation will soon be shared with the jury, showing just how badly inmate Robert Brooks was beaten, captured only because of a software feature that retroactively retrieved the footage from officers' cameras.
The evidence is going to show that the rest of these defendants were unaware that video was being made. Can you imagine what this trial would be like if I didn't have those videos?
Videos that haven't been narrated by the special prosecutor until his opening statement.
Mr. Kiefer has done his part with his blows, and now a fresh set of corrections officers take over. And remember, they killed him, that gang.
From outside, Brooks was tied and dragged into an infirmary emergency room inside.
Mr. Kingsley with his arms and his hands around Robert's neck, treating him like a doll, while Mr. Farina tries to shove a rag down his throat. He's gagged, he's choked, he's punched, he's yanked by the neck, he's dragged off the gurney by Mr. Kingsley and one of his accomplices by the neck and taken over in the corner for God only knows what purpose. So what does Mr. Gallagher do? Does he return to the human race and say, enough, stop this now? No, he goes out to his car to get some leg irons.
And the prosecution alleges covers up his camera.
So for 9.5 minutes, we see the inside of Mr. Gallagher's jacket instead of seeing what he was doing. Now, why do you think that happened?
The jury could be shown this video as early as tomorrow. In Utica, Andrew Donovan, News Channel 9.
So apparently don't get arrested in Utica, New York, because you're going to get your ass kicked. Jesus. I mean, that's just insane. Assholes. You deserve that nomination. Let's move on to another type of asshole. And this type of asshole is just basically stupidity. Not abuse, but stupidity. And this stupidity came on a beach in Mexico. And what do you expect to encounter on the beach in Mexico? I mean, maybe other people, maybe a crab, maybe a jellyfish, maybe, I don't know, a shark, possibly. But this one was a little unexpected, and this woman certainly didn't know how to handle it. And since she did know how to handle this particular situation, she is a candidate for this week's Asshole Merit Badge.
Ay, la señora.
Please get away!
Vele a ayudar, córrele.
Hey, por atrás.
Por atrás.
Hey, por atrás, gordo. Por atrás, güey. Hey, cuidado, cuidado,
Yeah, whatever your problem is, leave your damn bags alone. Whatever you were You know, you've seen people do that. I've seen them. We're in Yellowstone. They're interacting with bisons and or, you know, the elk and or a moose. I mean, these animals are not pets. They're not trained little house pets that you can walk up and pat them on the head and say, good boy. They're going to react, and they could possibly kill you like that. So use your brains once in a while. Please, people. Use your brains once in a great, great while. Otherwise, hey, speaking of using your brains, I hope you do use your brains. And when it comes up here to the next election period, we start thinking about getting some candidates in here that maybe could possibly do something for us instead of something against us. But until then, hey, let's try to still make our voices heard, let them know that we're not happy with the situations that are going on here domestically and or around the world, that we need a little bit of help instead of a little bit of a foot on our throat. And let's make this difference, folks. Let's make our voices heard. Let's talk to our congressmen. Let's get some stuff done out there, right? Positive for you and me instead of against you and me. Anyhow, hey, we're approaching into another weekend. Again, fall's starting to set in. You don't have a whole lot of days left to really get out and enjoy some of that nature without it being cold as heck. And that's coming right around the corner. Again, hey, Halloween is too. So I hope that everybody's prepared to enjoy this fall, to enjoy the upcoming Halloween. And until next week, I am out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of video, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
When I sit down to write a book, I write it because there is some lie that I want to expose.
Again, how many fingers?
My starting point is always a feeling of injustice. The very concept of objective truth is fading out of this world.
I'm going to set down what I dare not say aloud to anyone.
This prospect frightens me much more than bombs. The words democracy, freedom, justice have each of them several different meanings, which cannot be reconciled with one another. Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful.
The love in the air, I've never seen anything like it.
And murder respectable. Freedom is slavery. War is peace. Ignorance is strength. Totalitarianism, if not fought against, could triumph anywhere. Do you begin to see then what kind of world we are creating?
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you
the greatest gospel ever written.
Better than Moses,
bigger than Jesus, and folks, it's all about me. He said the world was made in 7 tweets. Promised golden towers on the holy streets. Fed the crowd with burgers, fries, and coke. Turn the sermon to a campaign joke. I am the chosen, the best of men. But your gospel's written with a poison pen. Believe me, people, I'll part the sea. But the waves just crash with hypocrisy.
This is the gospel according to Trump, where the lies are holy and the truth gets dumped. Raise your hands, let the choir sing. It's a Bible rewritten for a fake king.
Beatitudes turned into brand new deals. Blessed are the billionaires who sign the steals. Golden was never about you or me.
This is the gospel according to Trump, where the lies are holy and the truth gets dumped. Raise your hands, let the choir sing. It's a Bible rewritten for a fake king.
And lo, on the 8th day, I golfed, and it was tremendous. The angels clapped, the best claps, the loudest claps. Everyone says so.
Holy pages burned away, truth replaced by what he'll say.
Faith distorted, grace undone.
A false Messiah crowned as the one.
This is the gospel according to Trump, where the facts are buried and the lies erupt. Raise your hands, let the choir sing. It's a Bible rewritten for a fake king. This is the gospel according to Trump. From the throne of chaos, the world got stumped, but the truth will echo, the truth will stay.
And the false Messiah will fade away.
Can I get an amen?
The best amen. You've never seen an amen like this before.